Hi guys, and we are here today at the DC Dawn of Superheroes exhibition at the O2 in central London. It looks absolutely incredible. We're going to take you around and show you everything you can expect to see if you get to come down here yourselves. So follow me, guys. The DC Dawn of Superheroes exhibition is a unique collection of almost a century of artistic creations, with more than 200 original comic book pages, around 300 sketches and concept artworks, together with 45 original costumes, models and props used in the iconic films. The exhibit is divided into one room per franchise, each capturing in chronological order the history of a character from their first appearance through to current incarnations both in print and on screen. You start off with Superman, and seeing the different costumes was amazing and how much he has evolved. Seeing the tiny little props used for some of the special effects for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies was pretty damn awesome as well. Superman has evolved so much, not just in his costume but his character and the artwork. It's just so phenomenal to see the journey that this character has taken and how different artists have interpreted him, and the evolution of his movies visually as well. It's just stunning. Oh, and I was nearly killed by kryptonite, but thankfully it turns out I'm not a superhero, so I'm actually fine. I would say there isn't as much for little children at this one. Exhibits aren't really at kind of small child height, and there isn't anything particularly interactive. So I'd say kids over the age of kind of 7 probably would enjoy this onwards, all the way up to big kids like us who had an absolutely fabulous time. The next room is Batman, who, being a goth, obviously one of my favourites, The Dark Knight, pretty much kicks ass in my opinion. I know for a fact Michael, who was with me at the time, would have happily just stayed in the Batroom forever, probably, until he got some kind of restraining order off Batman. The Burton era, the Schumacher era, all the way through to the Nolan era, seeing the costumes in person, again, I'm going to say that a lot, but just seeing these things up close is absolutely incredible. The level of detail in the artwork and the beautiful condition that all the props were in, as well as seeing iconic costumes that I wish I could pull off like Catwoman, alternate designs for the vehicles and how everything works. I just enjoy seeing those artworks just as artworks, even if they weren't DC characters, even if they weren't things that I had such an affinity for. Just seeing the level of the art and the beauty of those works would have worked even if I didn't know who the characters were. The Schumacher costumes were pretty damn fun to see. We kept quoting lines from Arnie and Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, and we got to see the original version of the concept art for Poison Ivy, which I actually think looks slightly better than the costume they ran with in the film, but it is quite cool to see. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of those movies, they're still really enduring and iconic, and you still get pulled into the fun memories of watching them when you were younger. I was kind of torn between just spending hours looking at the beautiful details of the artwork and seeing how the comic book covers used to be layered with sort of paper cutouts of the text laid over the sketches, and you can see the construction lines and just seeing how these things are made. And then I'm also being drawn towards awesome things because the coolest motorcycle in the world was right there, and I need one of those. Even if it'd be completely impossible to drive in real life, I just want one of those in front of my house so I could sit on it. Walking around the exhibition, it just brought back so many memories when you see a piece of concept art for a movie you've seen, or a prop from that movie, or the original sketch of a version of a cover for a comic book you own. That's just such a wonderful experience. Then there was, of course, the multicoloured Harley room, and yes, I am a bit of a Harley fan, and I had to stop and take a few selfies while we were in there. These sketches were beautiful. The fact they had things like the variant cover versions, Lobo Harley Quinn artworks, just absolutely stunning. One of the ladies who worked at the place said that when they were setting up, she got to hold the Harley Quinn guns from Suicide Squad. I'm not sure she was supposed to tell me that, but she got to hold them and take a selfie. I'm not the biggest fan of Suicide Squad, but I'm pretty envious of that, I have to say. I really enjoyed the layout, using one room for each of the superheroes, giving them all space to breathe and show their evolution, then having a section which was the Justice League kind of brought together at the end was a very natural progression and a very intelligent way of organising everything. On to Wonder Woman, who's a character that's gone through probably the most amount of change. Looking at the costume designs for Wonder Woman with the original fabric swatches attached to them, plus obviously the brand new Wonder Woman costume and artwork and concept art was there as well. These are pieces of DC history that you might not get to see anywhere else, and it was just truly an honour to get to see these works. It's such an incredible collection. There's something about seeing the working outlines and the pencil lines behind the sketches and things for the inked versions of comic book covers that's just really kind of magical. The chance to see artwork by incredible artists such as Jim Lee, Bob Kane, Neil Adams, Frank Miller and Alex Ross. There's some lovely documentary footage as well where you can hear the artists and directors talking about their creations. I would have happily just stared at the Alex Ross art for another 3 hours if they'd let me, to be honest. Every panel of comic book artwork he does is like a work of art in its own right. That was absolutely incredible, guys. If you get the chance before the 9th of September, do come down and check out this exhibit. It is absolutely phenomenal and you have to see it in person. If you've already been, please comment and let us know what you thought of it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell if you'd like notifications for when we put more awesome videos up. Take care, guys! There was no point giving me a script.